Okay, you are now recording the conversation.
All
So
right,
all the
beautiful.
participants are aware the conversation is
Wonderful.
being, yeah, is being, they are aware of the recording. So
That's right.
this is something interesting. This is American. So that's why they tell us to tell everyone that they
Oh,
are
to give
recorded
a disclaimer.
to
I
give
got
a
you.
disclaimer
Yeah.
the
Well, the
content.
privacy laws. That's like when I call people, I have to say calls will be monitored or recorded for training purposes and monitoring and training purposes. Anyway, so
You
but
know
but this time we'll say that I'll say it like that, like I'm at work. That's cool. So but actually, what we're doing right now is we're reviewing. And we're going to just go ahead and review the topics that we had gone over before. And what I did was I transcribed our conversation, and then after that, I summarized it into bullet points for myself so that I can make sure that what I heard is what you said. Make sure that I didn't lose something, like they say, lost in translation, right? So,
okay,
you know,
okay.
when you're trying to do these things, we have to reconfirm everything.
That's okay.
So what I'm going to do is just go through these questions one by one, and I'll pause, and you can either clarify further or say that's fine, keep going, and we'll go from there. All right, so we'll start this way.
Okay.
Alrighty, so and let me see here. And actually, one second, because the one I have is the one for Hinata. Give me one sec. Let me open the other one too.
That's okay.
Here's the other one. One sec. All right, response number two. I think these are yours. Set it up. All right. I'm pretty sure this is the right one. The other I have two of these. That's why I created one for both you
No
guys.
problem. I can double check.
And all right. So what I'm gonna do, and I can work with the Hinata one after. We could do it another time. So, but just for this one, we're going to go through the basic questions. The first one was, what country and culture specific marketing strategies do you, as a for profit school, as a business marketing leader, use to increase online enrollment levels of Brazilian students? And what I found here in this section was that you have a unified marketing strategy to cover all of Brazil, and you're able to use certain sites like Preplay or Preply to bring you students from around the world, such as the Czech Republic, Austria, Italy, Canada,
Yeah. And
Argentina, Japan.
the previous student you just saw on this screen before
Right.
is one living in Miami right now. So she's
Oh, get
in
out of it. That's
Florida.
cool.
Okay.
Excellent. And Ireland and England, so all over many different countries and different continents, really. So that's excellent. And the big thing here, you treat English as a foreign language rather than a second language, focusing more on conversation than grammar. Does that sound like, at least in the basic part, the overriding thing, that it's pretty much a unified, homogeneous strategy?
That's
And
it.
then now, does that sound correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
All right, excellent, beautiful. So then the next one, we're going to move on. It says, how does your country and culture specific marketing strategy vary in characteristics from market to market? And to this one, we have, the strategy doesn't vary much from country to country, but rather from age group to age group, who seek education around different topics or types of conversation topics. And at times you do adjust your approach to different cultures. For example, we had the mentioning of when you deal with the Japanese students before, that they appreciated a more formal stance, and so you had more formal approach, maybe shorter classes to accommodate their learning style. Does that sound correct too?
That sounds correct. Brazilians are
All
more
right,
formal
beautiful,
in this way,
excellent,
even though they just go for the content. So
right,
the classes can be informal, however, they care about the content. So
excellent. So
Japanese are more formal. They can have
right,
all sorts of
instant.
a conversation, but it has to be in their way of you know.
Very specifically the way they want it.
That's
Exactly. No, I love that you guys are able to customize the way that you give deliver your school. It's not like one cookie cutter thing. I think that's awesome,
that's
and
it.
that definitely is a great differentiating factor. So that's wonderful.
Thank you.
And that's my aside. But anyway, so anyway, and then the next one I have, when determining a country and culture specific marketing strategy, do you focus on a specific demographic profile or cultural group within a country? So how do you sort of get in there? And to which we said, the average demographic profiles between 20 and 40 years of age. Typically, they're working professionals who need English for work a lot of times. This demographic profile you attempt to reach via Facebook or Instagram. and you have both domestic and foreign students who study with your school, including in the States, like you just mentioned, studying Portuguese as well. And you have different cultures find your school to be approachable from different ways, like you mentioned. Again, a little bit of maybe cultural nuance between. How does that sound? Does that sound about right? Would
That's
that say?
correct.
All right,
Yeah.
excellent. And as far as how do you define the target market, we have it as the target market is typically again working and has to have a source of income to pay for their courses. Typically, again, they're working professionals with careers looking to improve their skills in language to help them in their work environment. They can pay it for themselves, and then there are those who can afford to invest in their education. Does that sound correct too, as far as the target
Yeah,
market?
yeah, no, we do exactly like this. The economy in Brazil is kind of wacky a little bit,
Sure.
but
Right.
we focus on this sort of client. So this clientele is the one that brings more results for us.
Sure, it makes sense. I mean, it does take a resource to be able to pull this off. So,
Yeah.
and then the next one we have is what country and culture specific marketing strategies do you use to determine the driving factors for potential students to enroll online? And the ones that I have here are the driving factors in Brazil is a high demand for English language skills by companies, for example. The desire Brazilian working professionals who have the interest to gain these skills to meet market demands. There's a lot of competition, and the English is a second language market in Brazil locally, where many schools are part of, let's say, a franchise. You guys are not, and one driving factor that you choose that you achieve is creating a customized, specific emphasis program based around a conversational learning style, rather than one based again purely on grammar. Does that sound about right too? I got it.
Perfect.
All right. Beautiful. I tried to capture it, but just to the point. Here we go. And then the next one I have is how do you determine what marketing channels to choose to engage potential online Brazilian students? For this one, we have use the help of a PR firm to help you to determine in the past channels to promote yourselves, and Facebook and Instagram were some of the best social media sources to market your products that you found. You also discovered sites such as Preplay and Profess.com, where you're able to get more students, as well as Superprof.com. These are sites directed towards your industry to match students to the schools. So, and how do you find that in those types of sites that you're able to differentiate yourself? Is it just something that drives it to you, or what? How does that work?
Yeah, actually, when I we have a group of teachers on
Hmm.
Facebook, and they share most of the websites they find to enroll and become online teachers. And then
Right.
when we just subscribe for the channel, some websites just ask for a fee, other
Right.
websites just charge according to the amount of classes that we teach.
Traffic to
So
come.
we know exactly from the community, and then we as we are engaged to the website, we subscribe to them. They just give us the classes as we
Excellent.
show our schedule. If we have some slots open and we are available for classes, that's what nowadays I have a very limited time to teach
Hmm.
online for those guys because I've been busy.
Right.
But to get a head start, when I did that 1 year ago,
To get something going.
that was
Right.
that was really good for me. And
That's
then
awesome.
so I advertised
Sure.
myself pretty much.
So that's excellent. So it's like a supplement to what you get from your own, let's say, organic traffic that you receive from your site, from word of mouth, things like this that you had described. So that's excellent. And
That's
as far as the other thing I wanted to ask you, because I know in some places I've heard about, let's say, WhatsApp. Do you guys use WhatsApp? Do your students need to use that WhatsApp?
we use all the time. Actually, we don't use even though we have a WhatsApp for business. We don't use all the features WhatsApp offers for that. For
Right.
example, we don't advertise on WhatsApp and sell through WhatsApp.
Sure.
However, our clients, customer service works through WhatsApp all the time.
Mm. Do
So,
you do like any SMS with WhatsApp? Do you like short message or anything?
SMS in Brazil is kind of
Is
outdated.
it weird? I gotcha. Is
Yeah,
it?
we
So
use more
it,
WhatsApp instead of SMS. Even though
right.
I got a lot of SMS messages from companies, Uh,
Right.
Not exactly for my business.
Not too popular. I
No,
got you.
not at all.
How about, do you have, also wanted to ask you, do you have any type of emailing or nurturing campaigns to try to bring people along, or is that really not something that you're involved in?
No, even though we have a database of all our current clients and the former clients, we just use it from time to time, but rarely. It's not part of our strategy in any
Right.
market campaign. It's something that maybe in the future we try to improve, but actually we use more for internal communication.
Right. So not necessarily. Okay, I got you. Very good. And then, all right, so we'll jump back over to these last a couple questions here. After that one, we had, okay, what are the main sources of market feedback that you collect from potential students about the effectiveness of your country and culture specific marketing strategies to enroll online Brazilian students? And here I have, you attempt to gather feedback via links provided to your students to learn how they heard of you. So you have some sort of, let's say, feedback, maybe like survey type of thing from them. You often come to they often come to you via word of mouth, so referral, and you found that this to be an effective source of new leads in recent months from your local market. And your local market values trusting a relationship and recommendation, so that's important in relation to that specific market versus, let's say, a little bit farther market like a Sao Paulo market. For the greater Sao Paulo, students look for you since they are looking for quality online programs, so they're more looking for your content. Where the other one, maybe more locally, they're looking for also the trust factor that comes from that word of mouth. And so you have different needs displayed by different populations. Does that sound about right too? The way I described? Excellent.
Perfect.
So, excellent. So just want to make sure I'm capturing the essence of this thing. So,
Yeah, you got it
and then
right.
excellent, good stuff. So then we have, how do you adjust your country and culture specific marketing strategy based on market feedback from potential online Brazilian students? And then initially, you guys had started maybe way back, when you started 13 years ago, that you had tried flyers back then too, and then now maybe you have that, like, let's say, that type of collateral, marketing collateral, that you maybe distribute not in the field, but maybe if people come by, you might give it to them to walk in folks just to sort of reinforce the branding, but it's not something that you're actively sending out into the community, flyers all over the place. As far as anything else that you wanted to add to anything to this feedback, or am I correct with that
You're
section?
correct with that. Even though we are not currently using the flyers strategy, recently we started Google campaign
Hmm.
and targeting only the city where we are because
Right.
we're trying to. We feel that we have the organic growth now, but
Sure.
we also want to expand a little bit more since we have space for that. We have room for
Right.
more students in the school, the presential classes.
Excellent.
But we also use the flyers. We continue with them. They're just,
Uh-huh. Right.
as a way to communicate with other people. I keep them with me in the car. Sometimes we have some festivals, local festivals, where I take them and just hand it out to other people.
Can you scan me a copy of that? Do I have that? If not, scan me one later when you get a chance. Yeah,
Okay, I can do it
scan me
if you
a
want.
copy later.
I can just send it to snail mail if you want.
Yeah, either snail mail's cool too, but even just a quick, you could take a picture with your phone later, send it to me.
I'll do
That way I can see it really close up,
that.
Anyway, you
I'll do
shoot me
that.
a shot later, also, because I want to see both sides of it properly so I can read it. So,
That's
yeah, show
okay.
me the back side too. Later, you can shoot me one, but I think just to have a copy, I can upload it. Because you know what I want to do? I want to upload it also to my in vivo. When I do the marketing analysis, I want to show that as one of the things also that you have that you're presenting, even though it's not your main strategy, it's something that you use. So I want to have that available in the overall picture. That's why I'm trying to capture everything much as I can.
Okay,
All right,
dokie.
and then let's see here. Is the last thing I think it was here that I had. Do you have any additional comments you'd like to share regarding the specific country and culture specific marketing strategies that you use to recruit online Brazilian students? To which you had mentioned that traditional CRM website approaches and software don't necessarily work for you. You developed your own metrics to measure your success of your marketing strategy that's in a more simplified system. And as far as, I wanted to ask you, how do you have KPIs? What kind of thing are you looking at for yourself
Yeah,
to
okay,
see
so
either year over year
yeah,
or growth?
I will show you something here that will give you that will take you a glimpse to what we have as a tool
Sure.
to create our KPRs. I'm sharing the screen right now, so you're gonna see it very
Alrighty.
very
Thank
sensitive
you.
information, but I don't care.
Appreciate it.
I don't mind sharing them. I like.
It's all confidential anyway. This is
Yeah,
just for
don't
study.
worry. I like
I'm not
that.
taking it away.
Okay, so you see here, this is the where I keep my
Right.
students' information. I have the names here, very simple metric here. I got the names, I got the amount that they pay per month.
Right.
Okay, so I use this. Let me just go to the screen that I can interact
Sure.
together. Okay, so when this side here is the incoming, so is what our school profit. You see,
Hmm.
for Brazilian reais, it's kind of 10,000 reais per month, which that we make it around 3,000 American dollars. But this is the
Excellent.
current base that we have here. All those students, you can see.
Right.
I track them here. So we have here the dropouts. I just make sure I also have the
Mm.
dropouts students. And the dropouts are students that in the future we try to go back to them and see what
Sure.
going to come back to school. Okay, so here recently we have the number of dropout and average and 3 to 4 people per month. And
What's the main reason? Why would they drop out mainly? Did they
money,
give you any
money,
explanation?
money.
Money more.
Yeah, money
Yeah,
or
it's not
health
easy.
problems. But usually they
Right.
go back. The ones we have here are students that probably they come back one day. They just promise
So
that.
they had to take a break. Right. I
Yeah,
got you.
they just take time and then they come back. And here we have the I use here for the overhead,
Month over
all
month.
the
Right.
expenses we have in the school. Okay,
Right.
and finally I just collected and cross that information to have a balance. And so this is kind of a just a
Excellent.
summary
I
of
got you.
what we have.
Hmm.
And then I also try to get the KPIs doing a pivot table, and here probably it's, let me see, they're blank here because I have to update them. Oh, okay.
Sure.
So it's just
They'll
updating
just
a little
pop in.
bit. And then I can just have an idea where I'm just using my money for. And, it's easy to use sort of a,
That's excellent. Right.
yeah, that's basically how I do that because I cross
Right on.
raw data, and then from the raw data I can create a pivot table, and which helps
Hmm.
me a lot on
Sure.
tracking.
It's a good visual for
And
sure.
not only this, I will just stop here and show you what's going on this year. We are participating in the local award, so preview.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's the award.
Parabéns.
Oh, thank you for. But actually, we are participating in the process, and it requires to show how our structure in terms of organization. And
Right.
so we have to provide that this week. I have to provide all the documents that prove our best practices here in the school. I
Wonderful.
was invited last year. I thought I was not ready, so I went through all the rules. And
Right.
then this year we are ready to participate. They want to know
That's
our
awesome.
mission, vision, core values,
How
our
wonderful.
structure, and our sustainable development, whether we can just cause some impact in the environment and
That's
how we
beautiful.
interact with the social, society. This is very
Sure. So the holistic view of your practice, basically, as a business.
That's what we got. If I make I will try to get a copy for you,
That
and
would be awesome. I'd love to see it.
that's okay. So probably I will just send both for you, so you can have them.
Muito obrigada.
Ah, you're welcome.
I love it. I love it. We're getting there, but thank you so much for all of this. It's been wonderful to participate in this with you. I really appreciate your generosity of spirit and time to carve out some time of your schedule. I know these things aren't easy. You saw it's so tricky to find anybody to do these things, but it really means a lot to me because this is a study I've been working on for many years now. So I'm very excited to try to bring the findings together and see the similarities and the differences. I have to admit, there's some things, the different scope of different businesses in different ways, but there's some very keen similarities. So it's sort of neat to see how people are doing it similarly, differently. But I think you're really doing some things ahead of the curve, though. The fact that you're able to differentiate for your consumer and really give them what they need rather than just giving them what you think they need.
No,
I think that's a big difference with a lot of places,
this is a
and
daily, this is a daily struggle here. We have always to talk to students and understand what they need, and we provide exactly what they want.
yeah, I think that's where that's really the essence of your success is that you're able to really be student centric that way. So, parabéns. Good job.
Obrigado.
Seriously,
Okay.
for sure. So, anyway, all right. I guess we can cut off the tape at this point. I don't want to run up your thing all day.
Right now.